Went to the Olympics. Got a bit carried away and bought a load of tickets with money I don't really have. Although if you read the papers, you'd think the Games were the worst thing to happen to London since the Blitz, the Plague and the day that Chaz and Dave split up. Listen, whingers, I'm sorry you aren't excited about the most exciting thing ever, but until they clone a dinosaur, teach him to dance like Usher, and send him out on tour with Animal, Slash and Keyboard Cat, I'm afraid that this is as good as it gets. It's the first day of the Games and I head to the Excel Centre with Claire, who becomes the first person in the world ever to take a banana guard to a boxing match. The security checks are fast and efficient, and we try to test the food restrictions by smuggling in trifle and asparagus. The highlight of the bantamweight round is a crazy Venezuelan woman who screams things in Spanish and gets 15,000 people chanting the name of her son, who loses. Anthony Ogogo, who's British, wins and the crowd goes wild, although to be fair he could have covered an old shoe in Nutella and they still would have loved it. The session ends and I meet my friend Beth for more boxing. We eat Chinese food from a bowl that's way too small and head into the arena, where I complain about how tired I am after 4 hours of watching boxing, and a soldier goes, "You should try a year in Afghanistan." And we all laugh. In the stands we join the Kazakh fans and cheer on their fighter, who loses. I offer a wine gum to a South African, and one of the Georgian guys is so worried about losing he doesn't even turn up, which is funny because I knew a girl at school called Georgia who also didn't turn up for things, but it's fine, I'm totally over it. The shock of the night is the Armenian middleweight who properly batters his American opponent and is about to win on points until he gets knocked the f*** out. Head home with a smile on my face to get up early for handball, which, fact fans, is actually the national sport of Manchester United FC. Meet some crazy Dutch fans, get lost in the Olympic Park, and listen to claims by the missus that she invented recycling bins, which I'm pretty sure is not true. Decide to support Iceland, because this guy, who's got a big beard, a beer belly, and half a haircut, and who I've decided to name Olaf. Handball is violent, fast moving, and every time a player hits the ground, which is all the time, a goal comes on to mop up their sweat. Sometimes the goalie has a go. Oh, and Iceland are better at it than Argentina. The second match is the massive Croatians against the tiny Koreans. Hey, Croatian substitute, the 1970s called. They want their moustache back. Croatia win by a mile. We tried to get into the world's largest McDonald's, which has a picture of the world's scariest woman's face on it. But it's about to rain and it's a 2-hour wait, so we go home for a bit. Then it's off to Wembley for the football. The venue messes our ticket up. We have to sit somewhere else, and we miss a load of the Senegal vs Uruguay game. A game which could be best described as kicky. Team GB are next and play pretty well against the UAE, scoring a crucial early goal. But it's like they spend the entire half-time break getting cyberbullied, because in the second half they're as nervous as a virgin with a bra strap. UAE equalise and looks to take the game, but Britain rally, finish them off, and we head home happy in the rain. Get up the next morning and go through weightlifting. I get coffee in a place that claims to be serving an Olympic breakfast, but which is really just chicken nuggets and chips, and get angry at my friend Mandy, who shows up an hour late. Inside we watch men lift weights, and I cheer on the guy from Micronesia, the smallest of all the Nesias. Briefly considered becoming a weightlifting coach, because how hard can it be? See that thing over there? Pick it up. The session ends and we pop out for a snack, but the queues are so long we have to go for the shortest one. And it turns out there's a reason for that, because the secret ingredient in the vegetarian wrap is sulfur dioxide. Not bad for a toxic gas. I'll be honest, earlier I was watching this, and I thought, how is this even a sport? But there's a point early in the women's session where I suddenly get it. The intense strategy, the importance of knowing your limits, and trying to surpass them. It's the perfect mix of technique and character. Each woman has her own squeaks and chants before she lifts. They scream with delight when successful, and weep when they're not. And when Brit and Zoe Smith tries to lift for the lead, there's an electricity in the air that I've never felt at a sporting event before. And when she does it, wow. Unfortunately, her rival outdoes her at the end, and Zoe cries in the post-match interview. Brilliant, humble, and only 18. This might be the sulfur dioxide talking, but I think I'm in love. The session ends and I have to go to work, which it turns out isn't as fun as women's weightlifting. Next day it's lady hockey with Tim at the Riverbank Arena. We visit the official shop, drink beer, eat dry pretzels, and discover the one sport that America aren't very good at, which they somehow still win at. Before tonight I was fairly sure I understood hockey, but it turns out that if you want to grasp even the most basic rules, you've got to spend 10 years at the top of a Japanese mountain with a grandmaster. I mean, you can concede a penalty corner for anything. Touching the ball with your foot, touching the ball with your hand, having blonde hair, having long hair, being a vegan, being a heathen, being called Megan, treason. We watch the Aussie game with a group of their fans, which is fun because the Hockeyroos are great at hockey, and one of their players appears to be Princess Anne. Australia take the Germans to pieces, and Tim tries to get thrown out the stadium by advertising non-sponsor brands. You know what? I'm going to miss this big crazy circus when it leaves town. The sports I don't understand, the relentlessly happy games makers who hang around outside the venues and who sing and dance like they're part of a doomed cult. It's once-in-a-lifetime stuff. And what is life for, except to witness exciting things that will one day make for stories that will bore your children, but put a smile on your face every time you tell them? And if you hate the Olympics, that's fine too. Just lay back and think of Britain, because it'll be over sooner than you think. As I often tell the missus.